Hello, this is Territorial Tom, and we're here today in our greenhouse, and we're going to be talking a little bit about our integrated pest management program that we use here in the farm. We thought it might be interesting for you to see how we deal with pests in the greenhouse and how that might relate to how you could deal with them at home. So what we have here is these are our, these will be our B shipment plants, is that right? A shipment plants. Okay, these guys are only about 3 weeks old. So this from transplant. So they were little seedlings. We transplanted them up, and you can see already how the root systems are taken off in this plant, and they'll be shipped out in about 2 weeks from now. So if you're getting A shipment plants, these are coming to you. So the idea here in our greenhouse is, here again, everything here is certified organic, and so what we want to do is be able to grow the healthiest plants we possibly can and be able to deal with pests in the greenhouse without inhibiting them in any way that a lot of times you find with chemical applications of pesticides. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we deal with that. And when you talk about integrated pest management, really what we're doing is we're not trying to really eradicate every bug in the greenhouse, because that could be expensive, costly, and not really necessary. We're trying to control the populations so it doesn't inhibit the plant's growth at all, and that's what we try to do not only in the greenhouses but out on the farm. So there's several lines of defense against pests, whether it's in the greenhouse or out in your garden or out in the field. So the first thing is what we've talked about in the first videos, is actually growing good healthy plants that are full of microbes in the soil. And when the plants are very healthy, it seems as though pests do not attack them near as much as poorly grown pests or plants, and plants that are a little bit sickly. They seem to always go after those first. So the first line of defense really is we're trying to get to grow good healthy plants for your garden. The second line of defense that we use is we need to monitor. We need to know what's going on in the greenhouse. So not only when the greenhouse crew is transplanting things up, watering the house, they look to see, is there anything jumping off the plants, and take a look closely to see if there's any pests. Aphids are one of our major problems here. Even though we have thrip screens, occasionally we get thrips, so we're always on the lookout for those. And another monitoring method we use are these cards, and that's what they're designed for basically. Is the yellow is for aphids and thrips, and so we're looking to see if there's anything on these cards to tell us that they're existing in the greenhouse. And as you can see, this is just a little bit of soil that got washed up from watering the plants. And so fortunately, we don't have anything on this particular card, but we're always on the lookout to see. The next stage is, if you do have somewhat of a problem, there's mechanical controls you can use, and that could be anything from just picking the bugs off, which at home could work pretty well. Here's not a really good idea, because you can see there's lots of plants we will deal with. But some we've known of people vacuuming, and they can vacuum up the bugs and that sort of thing. The other things that we do on top of that is kind of an interesting thing that we do here has to do with fermented plant juices, and that's something that is we've been doing for, what, Sue-Ann, you've been mixing that up for
probably 10 years.
10 years. So what that consists of basically is when we process hot peppers for seed, we grow a lot of our own seed here at the farm. So when the seed is extracted from the peppers, we save the pepper juice and the pulp, and we put it in a big plastic barrel. And we also use the leftover garlic. We ship out lots of garlic to our customers, and we got these bits and pieces that are left over. And what the crew will do is we'll shell the paper basically off of the garlic, and they put it all in this big barrel, and through the winter we'll continually stir it, mix it around. And so what's happening is we're fermenting the garlic and we're fermenting the peppers. And fermented peppers and garlic are particularly work good as a repellent for soft-bodied pests like aphids and thrips. And we put just maybe a gallon in 500 gallons of water, and we'll water the plants with that, and that seems to work really well for us. And so between that method and the monitoring that's going on here, that seems to take care of most of our problems. But occasionally, if we see signs that aphids are there, we will use another IPM method, which is using good bugs to eat bad bugs. So we're going to take a minute here and show you what we use and how we release them. One of our favorite bugs that we like to use, the good bugs that eat bad bugs, of course, is lady beetles, and I think that's the first one that most people think of when they think of integrated pest management. And there's about 1,500 lady beetles in this bag, and we'll use several of these bags in a greenhouse. This is good enough to do a normal size yard for somebody's home garden, but this we find is a good multi-purpose use for different pests. We use them primarily for aphids and for thrips. Now these will populate the plants, go around looking for aphids, so they need to have a food source, so they'll keep looking until they find the food source, and then they will actually lay eggs and will reproduce themselves, and you get this reoccurring population that helps you in your garden. So this is a real good one for us and for you at home as well. You see they're very active already after opening the bag. We keep them refrigerated right up until about when we want to apply them. So what we'll do, keep going, is just shake them out along the table onto the plants. And it only takes about that amount on each table. I like to do it right in the middle of the table so that they make their way to the edges and make our way over to the next table. Shake them out. Oops. That happens occasionally. Then we repeat this right on down. The greenhouse. The other beneficial insect that we will use for aphids, and these eat just aphids, is these aphidoletes. And I don't know if I'm saying that exactly right, but sounds almost Irish, doesn't it? Aphidoletes. Anyway, these guys will eat over 60 different varieties of aphids. And so what you do in this case is you will just simply open the lid, set it down, and they will start their hunt. So they're hunting for aphids. So you don't have to apply them right to the plants or anything else. They're going to start to seek those out.
Ready? Mm-hmm. There they go.
They're taking off, taking flight. The hounds are loose. Can you hear the aphids?
They're screaming.
They're screaming.
I think they're all gone.
So until next time, this is Territorial Tom. And remember, the best line of defense against pests is to grow good, healthy plants with root systems full of microbial activity.